Hey guys. We wanted to start the show off with like a slack face or something. Because, it feels like one of the themes might be about like letting go of control.
Mm.
So it's like, yeah, let's just let our facial muscles drop and let go of control. And that, as a way of helping let go of control in the mind. It actually feels really nice, like, especially if you're in different positions where you feel like you might be holding something up or people pleasing.
You should practice this right now with us.
Yeah, let's do it. Just let go.
Oh, it's actually pretty tough.
Because, yeah, I think control is one of the themes I wanted to talk about. And I just remember, like, I think it was a month ago, I was walking through this room here we call the sanctuary, and it was just me and Kirsten in the room, and we were watching one of the shows on Sunday or something, and so it was over, and I just got up to leave, and we hadn't even been talking, so it was kind of funny when I walked by her, and she said, all she said was, "You're not in charge, Andy," and then I was like, I wonder what she means. Like, I don't know, it was like I had this question mark. I was like, that's interesting. I need to pay attention to that. And then apparently Jeffrey just told me he's been telling me this for a while too. So it's like, yeah, I just feel like I'm rinsing that, going through this phase of letting go of control. And I even noticed like there's like this pressure in the mind, like a pressure to heal, like to wake up or whatever. And ironically, it's very counterintuitive for me, because when that pressure comes in for me, the defense against pressure is apathy. So I actually start delaying and compromising in ways, and it can look like in my projects or whatever. But really, it's like, I think you were mentioning when I brought this up, like we can't control our awakening, and like, you have to allow yourself to be awakened. Like, we're not in charge. It's like, you're not in charge, Andy. So automatically that felt a lot better. And I remember like several months ago, I was just walking through the house and I had this anger, and it felt like it was part of this like long time pattern in my life. And I, all of a sudden I had this thought like, you know what? I'm just going to be angry for the rest of my life. And I felt so much better. I was like, wow, it's like the anger starting to disappear. And then I realized like there was such a pressure to like heal this, it's like I have to do it or whatever. Like, I didn't even realize that until I had that experience. So yeah, I feel like I go through these phases of like trying to wake myself up, and it's extremely counterintuitive, as you might imagine. So yeah, we had this clip, video of David's. It's definitely a classic. It's called David Hoffmeister, Allow Yourself to Be Awakened. And there's two versions. One's like 13 minutes, one's like 5 minutes, and we're going to play the shorter version. And yeah, just sit back, enjoy, and allow yourself to be awakened. So...
So, isn't it amazing that if we really trust and we open up and we really do, like Ricky was saying, hand it over to God and say, I don't know how this is going to work, how I'm going to do it. My best plans have never brought me the peace and happiness. My best imaginings, all my so-called creative imaginings of how could I finagle that or how could I work that, it sends you like in a tizzy. Because it still is this belief that somehow we're in charge of our own awakening. And in the Course in Miracles, Jesus says these beautiful lines, you cannot wake yourself, but you can allow yourself to be awakened. Wow. You cannot wake yourself, but you can allow yourself to be awakened. And how if you believe you're a small identity, if you're a little personality, a little body identity, how could you possibly really, really believe that you have the know-how to get out of a dream that you believe in, and that you would say the ego made up so tricky with so many entanglements and so much complexity that you would be more likely to get depressed or be suicidal than you would actually to have hope that you could escape from the dream. So that is a big line. You cannot wake yourself, but you can allow yourself to be awakened. It sounds like our theme that we were talking about last night about allowance and permission. Nobody talked to us about allowance and permission. We heard about grades, we heard about survival, we heard about becoming bigger, better, more, becoming the best, and all these things in the world, but nobody was there saying, just give yourself permission to let it all go, just give yourself the allowance to be in touch with your feelings, and then to be lifted up and carried beyond whatever you are thinking and perceiving. You can't, Einstein was talking about, you can't solve a problem from within the problem. You literally have to go beyond the problem for the solution. And that's what we call faith in the Spirit. When we cry out, something in our heart just cries out, help me, really, I mean it. I'm really sincere now for that help. And then we call it divine intervention, we call it the Spirit is able to use the symbols to reach you wherever you believe you are, whatever you believe you are, to use those symbols, but we still have to have the faith and the trust to kind of get out of the driver's seat, to believe that we're the ones that are personally in charge of our waking up from this dream. That's the frustration. No matter how ingenious we become, no matter how our skill level rises up, and even no matter how much recognition we get from the world with our achievements, with awards or with skills and abilities, there's still a sense of depression until we finally surrender, until we finally kind of symbolically get down on our knees and say, I will step back and let you lead the way. You show me. You guide me. Let me not try to inform you, Spirit, on the ways. You inform me. We finally are willing to be instructed. Yes, intuitively instructed in the awakening process. There's a part in the Course, one of the most beautiful lines in the Course is, resign now as your own teacher. Resign! Hand in your resignation.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's such a great practice. Like, it feels so great. Like, if you have mighty companions around you, you can just, practice that with each other. Just drop your face and eye gaze. Like,
yeah. It's a total release of the self-concept when you do that. Because it's like, I know when I was like, I forget who I was, but who was sharing it with me, but someone was just telling me about something like they would do about relaxing their face, and even now when we were practicing before the show, I could just, it has the same feeling as before. It's like immediately that self-concept comes in of like, oh, but I don't want to be seen that way or something, or it's like the reflexes to like cover it over with a smile or something are so quick, and that's like the pressure. That self-concept is the pressure. Like upholding something that wasn't given to us by God, any concept that has to be held on to. And there are stepping stone self-concepts that we all kind of step into along the way, but because they're given by the Spirit, like they're guided, like they're used, and there's not as much of that heaviness, but they're temporary to just raise us up higher and higher and higher. And That's what I've seen for myself, a lot of like trying to uphold some sort of spiritual self-concept or anything like that. You know, I want people to see me as nice or something like that. As soon as that becomes the goal, yeah, you're kind of screwed, because then you block the healing. You're defending against the light when you want to be seen a certain way. You know, that's what I've seen for myself. And actually for the past year, yeah, since I've been back in Utah, I've had this prayer a lot of the time that comes to my mind, which is, yeah, before any joining with a brother or sister or anything like that, or before any situation where I feel like, oh wow, it's going to require some vulnerability here, or like to heal, I've been hearing this prayer in my mind: help me, or like, let me not defend against the light. Like, let me not defend against the healing. Like, let me just be willing to let go, to release pressure, to, whatever is meant to happen will happen. Like, help me find a place where I've got nothing left to lose. Like, that's the only freedom, or else everything, it's like, eventually it all hits the limits of that concept. And then there's a pressure of trying to maintain it, when the Spirit's actually just trying to push you through it. That's the pressure. It's like, you're ready to let it go. Like, you don't need this anymore. You've actually never needed to hold on to it. It's like, I'm working with your mind, is what the Spirit's telling us.
Yeah, that's really nice. I feel like I just have a prayer to see, like, where is it that I have control, and just a prayer to, like, allow myself to step back and trust that the Holy Spirit's got everything, and I don't need to control anything, and I'm safe to let go of that control too.
Yeah, that was your prayer for the show, right? Just, wanting to be shown, like, how to just release all pressure. And I forget exactly what you were telling me before.
Yeah, I was just noticing the pressure in the mind and seeing how it all ties in with what we're talking about. And I did have a section. Let's see if I still feel it.
Because I join you in that prayer. Because for myself too, and I feel the section was very helpful. It's like that's been a big thing for me, over these years, since really feeling like I've like poured myself into, this is my life, That's been a huge one, just seeing where I'm falling into what I think are obligations and things like that, and just all the areas where pressure just goes in my mind. And I'm really thankful that I feel like my mind has, over the years, has become more and more sensitive to the pressure, where it becomes like more unbearable quicker. Just this feeling like I just can't work under pressure. I feel like I used to, and I had relatively in my own life a lot of pressure sensitive situations. Like, I've talked about different shows of like that Basel practice of running 60 suicides in 60 minutes, and if anyone fails, like, we start over. Like, yeah, I wanted to like kill myself with that situation. It was so intense. I was like, how am I going to do this? How can I control this situation? It's out of control. And so, those sorts of moments. And so over the years, it's just been about like, no, I'm not willing to like go under pressure. There's another way. I know that there must be another way to do this. If it's given for me to speak to so-and-so or do this or that, there must be a way that like I can go through it without like this intense pressure. And then there's also times of where it's like a trust, I feel. So it's hard to kind of cookie cutter say it right now, but I just feel like there is a different feeling to it I've seen, where I'm like, from my own personal agenda or personal will, trying to make something happen or get something done, and then where there's resistance, but the Spirit is guiding me to do this or that. There is a way, because if I really let go of control, or I keep handing it over, like, the willingness will come in, the inspiration will kind of help pull me through, even if it's not full blown.
Yeah, and there might be some projects that there might be this feeling of pressure around the projects, and the answer is actually to go towards it and just follow the prompt and do whatever needs to seemingly be done with the project, and that's actually the answer to the pressure. That's like the release. But then I've noticed a pattern for myself. It's like I'll feel the pressure, so then I'll not do it and then push it aside, and that builds the pressure. Actually, it's not the answer. So it's like part of this whole like, please don't delay, the Holy Spirit's saying. And I feel like that might have something to do with this section.
Yeah, you should read it.
So, yeah, this is chapter 16, the forgiveness of illusions, and this section is called The Bridge to the Real World. I think it's number 5. And then paragraph 8, it says, "Fear not that you will be abruptly lifted up and hurled into reality. Time is kind, and if you use it on behalf of reality, it will keep gentle pace with you in your transition. The urgency is only in dislodging your mind from its fixed position here. This will not leave you homeless and without a frame of reference. The period of disorientation, which precedes the actual transition, is far shorter than the time it took to fix your mind so firmly on illusions. Delay will hurt you now more than before, only because you realize it is delay, and that escape from pain is really possible. Find hope and comfort rather than despair in this. You could not long find even the illusion of love in any special relationship here, for you are no longer wholly insane, and you would soon recognize the guilt of self-betrayal for what it is." Yeah, let's just take a minute to let that sink in. Yeah, it reminds me of the part in the Course that says it cannot be difficult to do the task that Christ appoints you to do, because it is He who does it. So if it feels difficult, it's because we're trying to do it and control it. So it's all part of that allowance and stepping back, and it's like the section that Ricky read on her last show, I think, like, it's like when you, I don't know exact words, but it's like when you listen and follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit, it's like you'll be carried down like a quiet path in the summer. And it's like what seems to oppose that allowance is this control. So that's why my prayer is to like help me let go of control and to see where I might still have it. So yeah, maybe that can be your prayer today too, and we can all join in this together.
Just had a thought. Yeah, there were just a couple lines that I'd found earlier that just literally 2 lines, but were just coming to my mind around all this, because in the original guidelines given by Jesus for the Course in Miracles, in that kind of second guideline, basically says, only God knows the readiness of the student to receive, this revelation, this opening, this awakening. It's like only God knows, because that's what I was hearing in my mind before the broadcast, and I just kept hearing, God only knows, or only God knows, and like I feel like that must be in the Course somewhere, so I searched it up, and that's where he was talking about it. And that just feels relaxing to my mind, because
it's like no pressure.
Yeah, and just along with your prayer, on our website, one of the lines, ACourseInMiraclesNow.com, there was the line right here with the oracle option that we have on the site. This line from A Course in Miracles says, "Say to the Holy Spirit only, decide for me, and it is done." Again, it's like this stepping back, all this, it has like, it's like, I don't know, almost like this backwards step to it, just take one step back and breathe or something, so that, I will take the second place to gain the first. I'll step back so the Spirit can work through me. And that's what I felt with these shows, where it's like the most beautiful experience I have on these shows, or during any joining or anything, is when I feel like, just this presence or this experience of like the Spirit kind of pouring through me. Because then it just makes speaking and everything easy. Literally, my only job is to kind of step out of the way and like let it come through. And then, after that, then there can be an ego backlash of like, oh, why did I say that? Or was that helpful? Or something like that. But then my only job there is to hand over the judgments and, accept the correction. Jesus tells us you are not responsible for the error. You're only responsible for accepting the correction. Like, that's our only job. Just, yeah. And I've had plenty of like resistance or even fear around that, like, oh, I don't like that feeling of thinking I'm wrong or something like that. And yet it's the only way. It's like, it's not about the wrongness. Spirit, Jesus, like, your mighty companions are never there like to reinforce guilt. The guilt's already there. The whole point of accepting the correction, of letting go, of releasing control and everything, is actually to fall into the experience of innocence.
Yeah, because we think we're guilty, so we actually think we're right anyway. So it's like, if we think we attacked God and made our own world and God's dead and he's going to come back and kill us, wouldn't we rather be wrong about that? And be wrong about, in order to be wrong about that, we have to be wrong about everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would rather be wrong about everything than be right about that.
Yeah, because it requires, it's like, there can be that selectiveness in the mind where it's like, okay, I'm good about being wrong about the things that I've perceived I've done wrong. Like, okay, that's fine. But I want to be right about the things I thought I did right. It's like, no, you have to let go of all of it. You've never done anything right, and you've never done anything wrong. You can't hold on to one side of the coin. Both sides have to be let go. Make this year different by making it all the same. That's what that's actually what was the prayer at the lunch table yesterday. Someone was just sharing, like I'm really inspired actually by they were sharing I want to make everything the same, why make it different? Yeah. So I just feel like there's really something in this for me around, I feel around releasing control too. I feel it's everyone's prayer at the same time.
It's even Tony Robbins' prayer. We were watching an interview. It was an amazing interview, him and Russell Brand, or maybe it was just a clip of it. And then Tony Robbins was like, he was so fired up. I love that energy. It's like, he was like, every time I go up on the stage, I have to make sure I step out of the way before I start speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually said,
he said word for word.
Let me step back, or I forget what his word for word was, but I was surprised actually. I did not think that.
Step out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something very powerful and very beautiful. It actually
Yeah.
was very inspiring. Like, wow, some of these best speakers, like their prayer is to let themselves be truly helpful. Like, let me totally step back and let you, like, basically do the work. Because you're the healer, not me. I think, I don't know, I haven't seen the documentary itself. I haven't seen it yet, but there's one by Tony Robbins called I'm Not Your Guru. And that's the thing, like, no person is the guru. Like, they can be used by the Spirit as guided and orchestrated, but it's never them. It's always the Spirit. The Spirit's always the healer, and people are just puppets being used either seemingly by the ego or by the Spirit. It's like, put me back on the strings, like, let the Spirit use me fully. Let me step back. Like, that's a relaxing aspect of it. And just really the practical part of all of this is, you know, because if you're asking yourself, like, you know, I'm hearing this in my mind, okay, now how do I do this though, Spirit? Like, it's it's actually by asking, okay, where am I still controlling in my life? Just that was your prayer right before, like, show me where I'm still controlling in my life. That's the first step. Like, show me, reveal it to me. I want to see, because it's not serving me. And then from there, when you can see it, whether you journal or you just kind of see it all in your mind, that's where then you can hand it over to the Spirit. You just really look at it. You look at each area and you see, like, okay, is this making me happy? Is this giving me what I think it is that I want? And then for each of those, you can list them all out or whatever it is. From that point, then you, okay, Spirit, you even write it down. I'm handing this over to you. And then pay attention to how that feels. Is there still a grip on it? There's really, and this is the important part because I'm hearing this for myself, and there's no pressure to actually let it go. But you want to be able to just see where your mind is at, what you're still holding on to, and just so you can see that it's not actually like an outside force, that it's all coming from our own mind being attached to it. And that's okay. Like, we'll eventually see that, okay, this really isn't helping me. Because there's still a grip. There's still some sort of belief underneath it all. Like, no, but this still serves in this way. It's still valuable. But we keep being shown over and over. That's been my prayer. Like, show me it's not valuable. Like, show me I don't need this. Or I need to be convinced. I'm stubborn. Jesus, help me.
Yeah. I just remember David saying in a video, like, you can't control your kids, you can't control your pets, you can't control yourself, you know. In the Course it says you have no control over the world you made, so yeah. Thank you guys for joining us, and I'll see you next week at 9 a.m. It's actually at 9 a.m. now, Mountain Standard Time. Every Monday. You can watch it on Spirit.ai or on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining us.